What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to what is gonna be, well, actually a call or a cry, basically, for Giuntoli to be smart, because we are entering a very delicate moment. I think in the whatever you want to call it process we're trying to do with Thiago Motta building a new Juve. This is, for me personally, critical because nobody could have imagined the injuries we have, and they popped up. And one of them is probably your best player in the squad, or one of the best players in the squad, in Bremer, one of your main guys, if not the main guy. And actually, the first games he played, on pace to become obviously the MVP of this squad, but potentially recognized as one of the best in Europe, by everyone. And according to reports, Real Madrid had him on the list. And nobody was prepared for this, Nobody was prepared for missing two players with season-ending injury. However, this is a big moment for Giuntoli, a massive moment. And that's what we're going to talk about, because it's easy for the media to link us with every single option out there. And we will talk about it. Kiwior, Lindelof, Hato, Skriniar, the guy from, was it Flamengo, Fluminense, Sergio Ramos. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. However, Giuntoli needs to be extremely smart right now, because the decision he's going to make right now is not just going to have an impact on this season, but it's also going to have an impact on the following seasons, and I will explain why I think that's the case. Before we do that, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and tomorrow also a new podcast, not with Julian, but something else, so stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, let's talk about the situation. The situation is clear. Bremen went down, we needed help. Cabal went down, we need extra help, because the help we have on the bench is Danilo. And I'm not counting Rui, because I don't even know where he ended up to be, and also he's not good enough. Let's be completely honest right now. And Danilo's not good enough. I think that's obvious. I think everybody finally agrees on that point, that Danilo is not good enough. However, we play a lot of games. We cannot do anything from now until January. That's a Motta to find a solution. Is that using McKennie, and give Savona a rest here and there? Is that Colt Miner slotting in? Is that Weah dropping back? I don't know what it is. But Motta is going to need to find a solution, because from now until January, and again, we don't even know if we sign a player and when. It's obvious that we need to, but knowing Giuntoli, it could happen at the end of January. So this can be 2 months and a half, Motta needing to find a way to win games with a deployed backline with one sub in Danilo, who's not good enough. So those are the facts. In January, I can see why the media is linking us with Lindelof and Kiwior and all those things. However, we cannot be linked with certain players. One of them, obviously, a Kiwior, a Sergio Ramos. We cannot be linked with these players. I want the club. And to go get Skriniar on loan, that is the only plausible way, the only explanation for that I will accept is we have a main target, and we kind of know the name already, but the team he's playing for is not letting him go in January unless we overspend, and we are in a situation where we cannot overspend. That's the reality of the matter right now. I can understand if a team is not letting one of their best players go mid-season. We don't want to do that. I understand other teams do not want to do that, unless they're in a Vlahovic situation where he's not signing a new deal and they're like, yeah, just move, we need the money, we cannot take a risk, so on, so on. For January, we need to sign a player, or Giuntoli needs to sign a player that's going to be part of the project, that's going to be here for a long time. There's an upside. Even if it doesn't work out, or it does work out, you sell him, and he's still young, you know the gist. It cannot be a signing where you look back at it and you're like, we're stuck with another player who's not good enough, and we knew that the moment we signed him. That cannot be the case. And it's not easy, like I said, because it's January and not a lot of teams are willing to let one of their best players go. It's impossible, basically. I've seen the links about bring Diallo back and bring Rugani back. No. You just can't. Like, those are not options as well. Because you said at the start of the season, I don't need Diallo. Then you definitely do not need him now. If you didn't think he should be part of the squad back then, you don't think he should be part of the squad 3 months from now, because that's it. 3 months after you loaned him out, whatever it is, 4 months, not even, let's say 3 months, because it was the end of the window, basically. Those 3 months did not change your opinion. If you bring a player like Diallo Black, it's not because you immediately fell in love with him, what he did at Porto for 3 months. It's because you're panicking, and that cannot be the case as well, because the player you're gonna get is gonna play a lot of games. He's gonna play because we play a lot of games. We will have more injuries, fatigue, and all those things. You need to trust that player. You need to believe in that player, not for January until what is it, May, or we play the World Cup, whatever. You cannot sign a player just to trust him for 4 or 5 months. You need to trust him for 4 or 5 years. You need to believe in that player. You cannot waste money. That's the big thing. And he needs to have an impact in terms of he needs to be good enough. It needs to be quality in that player. Even if it takes a few, if there are a bit setbacks or there are hiccups in his play, it can happen. I think we can all live with that, rather than sitting here in the summer and be like, what have we done? You know, we got a player, it didn't even help us. He was not good enough. Now we're stuck with him, or he's out on loan, and we kind of fumbled the season. What could have been, basically, you know. So that is a delicate moment, and it's gonna have an impact, like I said, for our summer, you know, and for the future of the club, you know. Also, on top of that, you don't know in which capacity Bremer and Cabal are coming back. Cabal is young, Bremer is still young, but a bit older. You don't know in which capacity they're gonna come back. They're probably not back to start the season next year, 100% fit. So you need to keep in mind as well that the player you bring in is not just 4 or 5 months. It's for basically a year. We've seen the Chiesa injury and how long it took to actually look kind of fit, basically. We've seen it. You know, obviously he was an explosive player, Bremer and Cabal, not that, so maybe it's a bit easier, but you don't know what's going to happen. Setbacks, niggles. Like, the player you sign right now is going to need to be part of the project long term. So for Giuntoli, a delicate moment, a moment he couldn't prepare for, but this will tell us a lot about Giuntoli, how he operates, who he is as a coach, as a manager, what team we want to be in the future. These moments are going to tell us so much about this team, about the future of this club, and so on. So despite everything that happened, it's sad, but I'm kind of interested to see how Giuntoli is going to handle the situation, or Motta. You know, even if you bring in a player, I'm like, really? This? And they make it work. I'm like, okay, then there's a plan behind it, you know? But if there's no plan behind it, and in the summer we're sitting here, we're like, what the hell did we just did back then I'm a bit worried, because these things are part of football. This is all about how are you going to react. Can you find the best solution? Are you level-headed, you know, as a team, coach, players, personnel? Do you actually know what you need? Can you use players you have in the squad and make it work? Like, so on, so on. All these things are going to be key for the future of this club. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know names. Like, I don't want to talk about Lindelof and Kiwior. Like, that's the media right now. I can make a video on a defender every single day because there will be a new name every single day. The fact is, nobody kind of knows, you know, and that's a good thing, I think, because the names out there right now, 90% of them are extremely sad, you know, extremely sad, and they all scream panic, and we cannot panic in January. That definitely cannot be the case, you know. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you have a name in mind, a realistic name in January, or an unrealistic name, but you have a reason why you believe we can get that unrealistic name in January? Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow. Ciao.